Can AI really save 80% of managers' time? Well, welcome everyone to today's explainer. Look, if you've ever felt like your entire day is just completely eaten up by endless tasks that keep you from doing actual deep work, that question probably sounds like pure science fiction, right? You're probably sitting there thinking about your flooded inbox, your back-to-back calendar, and the, 3 separate chat threads you're actively neglecting right now, kind of scoffing at the idea that any software could possibly fix all of that. But what if it's not fiction? Today, we are breaking down the reality behind this massive claim. We're going to look at the data, the operational shifts, and exactly how artificial intelligence is moving from just a fun little novelty into a massive, structural game changer for businesses.
80%. I mean, just sit with that for a second. Imagine getting 80% of your working week back. It sounds totally impossible, right? But the source material we're digging into today makes a very bold, very clear assertion. Saving this much time is entirely possible. But, and this is a huge but, there is a major catch here. You absolutely cannot just throw AI at a broken process and expect a miracle. If you're using AI just to write your emails a little faster or maybe summarize a PDF, well, that's really just a digital Band-Aid. Sure, it might save you 5 minutes, but it doesn't fundamentally change your day. To hit that massive 80% mark, the technology has to be used structurally. It literally requires a fundamental rewiring of how a business operates, moving way beyond those simple quick fixes.
Okay, let's dive into this. Part 1. The structural transformation of AI in management. To really wrap our heads around how we actually achieve that massive time save, we have to look at how this technology shifts management entirely away from everyday operational noise. So to grasp this transformation, let's first consider personal AI. This is basically your individual digital assistant. It's built to help one person work faster, think better, and automate those daily repetitive tasks. It enhances you. Now contrast that with enterprise AI. This is a completely different beast. Enterprise AI is built for organizations. Its goal is to improve operations across the board by connecting these massive, disparate data silos, literally plugging directly into your CRM, your HR platforms, your financial data, the whole shebang. So while personal AI speeds up an isolated task, enterprise AI connects those tasks to reduce organizational risk and drive much better decisions at a massive scale. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is that the biggest difference between these two isn't actually the AI model itself. It's not just about having some smarter algorithm. The real differences are in the context, the data integration, the security, the governance, and honestly, the sheer level of responsibility required. Enterprise AI wraps the intelligence in a deeply secure, heavily governed environment. Think of it like this. It's the difference between driving a super-fast sports car on a totally empty track versus managing a highly regulated, high-speed transit system for millions of people. I mean, if that sports car crashes, it's a personal tragedy. But if a transit system fails, or in the business world, if an ungoverned AI causes a catastrophic data breach, the entire organization is on the line. That governance is exactly why this matters so much. Let's bring this back to the real world for a second, specifically in really fast-moving environments like startups. In startups, time is quite literally everything. It is without a doubt your most precious resource. Yet, think of a typical startup founder or manager on a random Tuesday. They're spending 3 hours just coordinating across various Slack channels. Then they spend another 2 hours in meetings simply reciting updates that, frankly, everyone should already know. And then comes the manual reporting and gathering data just to prep for a single choice. Suddenly, poof, the day is gone before a single strategic decision is even made. They are totally trapped doing all of this operational prep work instead of actually leading. So the crucial point is that AI doesn't just speed things up, it removes entire layers of work. This is where the structural transformation really truly kicks in. We are not just talking about bolting faster tools onto a fundamentally broken process. Because look, if you have a terrible, totally unproductive status meeting and you use AI to run it 5 minutes faster, you still have a terrible meeting. True AI implementation acts almost like a robotic arm that steps in and completely subtracts the operational chaos. Actually, scratch that. It's more like taking a giant eraser to the busy work. It actively lifts that burden entirely off the manager's shoulders, providing this immense psychological relief and the breathing room you need to actually think creatively. So how does this actually work in practice? The benefits are just incredibly powerful when you break them down. First off, AI just flat out eliminates status meetings by continuously syncing asynchronous data. Because the system is giving you real-time insights, everyone already knows the status. The update meeting becomes completely obsolete. Second, it automates decision preparation. So instead of a manager spending hours pulling metrics from a database, the AI instantly surfaces actionable recommendations. Third, it massively reduces coordination chaos by automatically cross-referencing team schedules and dependent tasks. Fourth, it acts as this incredible corporate brain.
turning fleeting chats and deeply buried emails into structured, highly searchable knowledge wikis. And finally, it actually predicts risks. By flagging a delayed dependent task before it ever creates a bottleneck, it moves your team from constantly reacting to fires to proactively preventing them.
And this brilliantly illustrates the real-world impact of everything we just discussed. I mean, the math here is staggering. A typical work week without AI involves meetings and coordination taking up nearly 100% of your allocated management time. It's wild. But with AI implemented structurally to handle all that sync and prep work, that time plummets down to just 10 to 30%. That is a massive 70 to 90% reduction in meetings. And this brings our initial hook full circle. That 80% time save we talked about, it isn't a myth. It's for sure the direct mathematical result of stripping away the foundational busywork that structural AI can just handle for you. Which leads us perfectly into the ultimate paradigm shift for leadership. Managers get to completely evolve away from this from state. They stop constantly following up, they stop chasing updates from their team, and they stop managing that daily operational noise. And because AI is handling that noise, they are finally liberated to live entirely in the to state. They can focus all that renewed energy on designing better systems, making high-impact decisions, and actively driving the strategy of the company forward. This elevates the human worker to do what humans actually do best. Honestly, this is what management was always supposed to look like in the first place.
When you really look at that stark contrast between managing noise and driving strategy, a very clear conclusion emerges from the source material. In fast-moving startups and modern companies, AI is absolutely not a nice-to-have tool anymore. It isn't just some trendy software subscription you can take or leave. It is the absolute difference between scaling your business efficiently and getting hopelessly stuck in operational chaos. It's that simple. You either structurally transform or you hit a ceiling built entirely by your own busy work.
Which brings us to the future, and a bit of a challenge for you to consider. The ultimate sweet spot is a future that likely combines both concepts we discussed today. So the question is, how will your company combine personal AI workflows while operating safely inside enterprise systems? How do you empower the individual's daily tasks while still protecting and scaling the entire organization? It's a really provocative thought, and it's the exact question every modern leader needs to be asking themselves right now to evaluate their own technological maturity and readiness to transform. Thank you so much for joining me on this deep dive into the research, and I'll catch you on the next explainer.